Hi, it's Heather. Today we have a routine focusing on strengthening the hamstrings and the back. I'll just tell a brief story to introduce the routine about myself. So for about 10 years, 99% of what I did for physical fitness was Ashtanga type Vinyasa yoga and running, which I thought was perfect for optimal fitness. When I got to be in my later 30s, I started having some pretty significant lower back pain and knee pain. And doing more research, I figured out that really what I was doing was not optimal, that I was doing way too much stretching and passive stretching of the posterior chain. The forward folds were putting too much pressure on my lower back while not doing things to complement and strengthen those muscles. So especially my hamstrings were so used to not doing anything but passive stretching. When I started to finally work them, it was like a big shock for them to be doing anything. And then the next day I was so sore I could hardly walk. So hopefully you're not that bad off, but this routine will hopefully help maybe correct some imbalances and strengthen some of the muscles that get overstretched but not always worked enough. And the equipment that you will need is a chair or bench or box or something where you can lean yourself over so your stomach and chest are on the bench and your feet are on the floor, because we're going to be doing some reverse hyperextensions. Last couple of things. I am a certified yoga teacher, but I'm not a physical therapist or medical professional, so don't take my opinions or advice too highly. This is more what's worked for me. I have some links below to people more qualified than me. And Yoga-wise, Jason Crandall is one of the sources that I've learned a lot of this stuff from. You shouldn't feel any severe or sharp pain, and you really don't want to be feeling pain in your low back. So this routine may not be appropriate for you. It's okay to modify any move or skip any move. And let's get started. Begin in a comfortable standing position, extending through the crown of the head to lengthen the spine. Bring the shoulder blades slightly together and take a few deep breaths to begin, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. We will start with some gentle warm-ups. So on your next inhale, bring the arms up in front of you. Exhale, let them float down to the sides. Inhaling the arms up in front of you. Exhale down to the side while pulsing up and down with the knees, just to start to warm up the legs, the shoulders, the core a bit. Continuing to breathe through the nose and starting to feel some energy moving through the body. And then back to center, and we'll just start to kick one foot and then the other behind you. Natural breath. Starting to activate the quadriceps and hamstrings here. And then next we'll start to kick one foot and then the other side to side, kind of like you're kicking a hacky sack to warm up the hips, glutes. Now we're going to, for the next one, extend your opposite arm and leg, inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. So again, moving opposite arm and leg. And engage your core a little bit as you're moving the limbs here. And then back to center again. We'll bend the knees slightly, hands on the hips, and start to inhale and exhale, making little circles with the spine, inhaling forward, exhale back, warming up the lower back, hip area, core. And then same thing but opposite direction. And just slowly getting in touch with the lower back. Center. And now with the hands on the hips, we'll make hip circles, lifting up one leg, rotating through the hip. You can either touch down in between each one or try to test your balance by keeping the leg up the entire time. And staying on the same leg, going in the opposite direction. And same thing other side. So bending the knee, circling the hip, either touching down or trying to stay up through the rotations. And then the same leg, but the opposite, moving in the opposite direction. Back to center, we'll either come in and out of Utkatasana, chair pose, so inhaling hips back, arms up, exhaling, standing up, inhaling down, exhaling up. Or if you don't really like the squatting for your lower back, you can just have the knees and feet turned out to the side and come up and down, keeping the spine in neutral, so you're not sending the hips back. But if Utkatasana regular is fine for you, you're gonna inhale down, exhaling up. Inhale down, exhale, squeezing your glutes at the top. And when you come down, letting the weight come into the heels. So we're gonna go through several pulses of this to, again, warm up the lower body. Circulation going, building some heat through the limbs. And now back to center. And just start to make a little circle with your left ankle. Just keeping it on the floor, moving around, getting any little creaks or cracks out. And then make the circle in the opposite direction. And we're going to bring the foot back so the toenails are on the ground. And if you're able to, just press gently the foot, just stretch the front of the foot and the shin. Should feel nice, at least for me. It's a direction we don't always stretch the foot in. And then opposite foot, so we start just making little easy ankle circles. We're doing some things on one foot, so we will just get this area warmed up, and like I said, any little creaks out. and the opposite direction. And then extending the foot behind you with the toenails on the floor, and if you're able to, just gently pressing down to, again, feeling a nice stretch, lengthening the front of the foot and ankle and shin. And now for our first hamstring exercise, we're going to come in and out of Virabhadrasana 3. You can hold onto a chair or wall if your balance is a little troubling. So level 1, you can just exhale forward slightly, inhale back starting on the right leg. Or if you're able to, you can keep the knee up and not touch down, just pulsing in and out. And we're going to 10 repetitions here. Couple things to think about. When you're coming forward, you want to try to lift the arms a little higher than the chest. Bring the shoulder blades together, so we're keeping a nice active upper back. It's good to focus on a focal point. And it's normal to fall out of it and maybe not make all 10 repetitions. We want to be going slowly with control. Our pulsing warrior 3. With control. And now we're going to hold it next time you're forward for 5 deep breaths here. A little bit of cobra action through the chest. Exhale back to center. And the same thing on the opposite leg. So coming forward, pulsing back with the inhale and exhale. Keep some extension through the chest. You can start out by touching down a little every time. Gradually, maybe you can make it to all 10, but if you are watching me, I'm a little wobbly. I'm not perfect at it. And it's okay for the standing leg to be slightly bent so we're not overstretching the back of the knee. Keeping the focus, keeping the movement and breath linked, and now we will stay forward next time you are here. Again, bringing the shoulder blades slightly together, keeping the hips even, and exhale, relax. You can start to wiggle around, loosen the body back up, and we'll do one more round of that. So come back to the first leg, pulsing back with the inhale and exhale. And again, just doing your best. It's okay to tap down anytime that's needed. Feeling the little movement that your ankle is doing to keep you steady. Maybe you're starting to feel that hamstring. Feeling some heat building through the back of the body. And you keep the arms even or slightly above the back. And then staying forward when you're here for 5 deep breaths. Extension through the upper back. inhale back to center, and opposite side. Inhaling, exhaling forward, and just doing your best, especially it can get a little more difficult as we keep going to maintain balance. Or hopefully the opposite, where you're getting a little more into the flow, into the mental process, and are finding that it's coming easier. But either way, just keep the movement and breath linked, keep the focal point. And the next time we're forward, we'll stay here, hovering. Kind of feels like you're flying in Warrior 3 is one thing that I like about it. You're soaring. Exhale back to center. And starting to keep the left foot on the floor, we're going to take an exhale and bring your right heel towards your buttocks. So inhale, exhale, bring it back, and really squeeze. So this one is one that you can kind of just do lazy. You might not be able to tell if someone's really engaging that hamstring, but each time you come up, you're trying to actively really squeeze that hamstring on the back of the leg. So again, it doesn't look like much, but if you're really engaging that hamstring every time, you will definitely be starting to feel that muscle. And it was even just simple movements like this, again, originally I had trouble with. And then the next time you have the heel towards you, you will just stay there, again, really engaging the muscle, trying to get your heel towards your butt, even though it's not really going to get there. And then relax the muscle, do the other side. Opposite foot, inhale, exhale. Bring the heel towards the body, really squeezing at the top. And every time, again, it's a very simple movement. But if that hamstring is lazy, it's going to be some definite work to do all these extensions and crunches of the hamstring. Each rep very high quality. Really trying to bring the heel as close to you as you can, and then holding here for 5 deep breaths. Imagine like it's really important to get that heel to your butt. Even though it's not going to get there, you're going to try as hard as you can. And then release the foot. We're going to gradually make your way down onto hands and knees. Coming into balancing table. So with a neutral spine on all fours, you're going to inhale the right leg forward and left arm, and start to work on pulling the hand and foot apart, kind of like you had someone on each end pulling your limbs away from each other. Getting extension through the spine, strengthening the back body here. It's a great one to do on a daily basis. And now for the last couple of breaths, trying to lift the arm and leg so it's a little bit higher. Feeling those back muscles working. Exhale, relax. And we'll go into the opposite side. So lifting the left leg up, right arm forward, or whatever the reverse of what you did before is. And not really lifting up so high yet, but just really actively pulling that arm and leg away from each other, like somebody is pulling the two limbs apart. For some spinal decompression here. And then now trying to lift not only forward, but a little bit up too. So bring the arm and leg a little bit higher. Exhale, relax. So we're going to do a little hamstring curl here, similar to what we did before. Just come back for a couple breaths, give a little break to the wrists. but we'll be doing it from hands and knees, so similar experience and movement in a different plane here. So lift the right leg up, straightening the leg. Exhale, bringing that heel towards you. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, bringing the heel towards the butt. So continue here for 10 repetitions. Same idea, but a little different angle of gravity. Doesn't look like much, but you're probably starting to feel the hamstring. And again, if you don't do a lot of hamstring work, to me these felt kind of like weird. It took a little while to start to feel like a natural thing of using the hamstring. And now again, we'll try to feel like you're trying to bring the heel, holding it for 5 breaths and get it as close to the butt as you can. And relax and come back, give the wrists a little break. Back onto hands and knees, extend the left leg up or the opposite. Inhale, exhale, squeezing the heel towards the body. We're continuing to link movement and breath. Keep the face soft. Breathing through the nose. Inhale, exhaling, squeezing each time. So observe through these if one side is feeling a little different than the other. It's a little more difficult or tight for one. And now we'll keep squeezing the heel towards the butt for 5 deep breaths here, trying to keep that hamstring really actively engaged. And then release. Coming down onto your stomach. And we'll take a few breaths here just to get used to being on the belly, letting the back relax and extend. We'll be coming into a pulsing low cobra, Bhujangasana. So now bring the chin forward, slide the hands back under the shoulders a little, and just coming up far enough that you're not using your hands, we'll inhale the chest and shoulders up, exhaling down. Starting to warm up the lower back a little more. And staying up for a few breaths here, feeling the power through the low back, and exhaling, relaxing, head back down on the floor. We'll extend the right arm forward, and on the next inhale, lift up the right arm and left leg. And again, pulling the limbs apart, kind of like we did in balancing table. And now we're going to change sides, so midair, the opposite leg and foot will be forward. And again, feeling that pull through the whole body. Exhaling down. So this next one you may find a little challenging. You can just do your best or take a break if we need it. We're going to inhale, bring the arms sweeping forward while the chin and chest are up, feet are up. Inhale the arms forward, exhale back, kind of like you're making a snow angel. We're going to go through 10 repetitions. Just do your best. If you need to modify, you could have the feet down, or you can rest down at every time. But this is one that's very, very good for the whole back body, whole posterior chain. A real power move. And that's what makes it difficult, that these muscles are weak for a lot of us. So then we'll stay holding next time you're forward for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax down. And now you'll keep for the next one the upper body down and just inhale the right leg up, exhaling down. So nothing's coming up and down except the leg, and again we're trying to focus on keeping both the glute and the hamstring on the back of the leg pretty active. And we're going through 10 repetitions here. It gives the upper body a little break. And now holding the foot up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Changing sides. Inhale, opposite leg, both bringing the whole leg up and down. It doesn't really have to come that far, just that you're feeling those muscles on the back of the body. Exhaling every time up, keeping those back body muscles active. And then holding up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Another one that can be a little of a challenge. We're going to have the feet up. Inhale the arms forward. Exhale, bring the elbows back and squeezing the elbows when they come back. So inhale forward, exhale back. Really actively every time squeezing those shoulder blades together, kind of like you were trying to pinch something in between your shoulder blades there. If you need to modify, you can have the feet down. We're going to try to go to 10 high quality reps. Again, another real powerhouse move for the back body. So good for your posture. We're almost there. And relax, let the body melt into the earth. You can relax on one cheek briefly. And the breathing slow down. And now keeping the upper body chin down, just bend your knees so the feet are pointed straight up at the ceiling. And just try to lift both knees up off the floor an inch. And this is one again that doesn't really look like you're doing anything, but even just to keep the knees up a little, it will take a lot of power through the back body, back of the legs. Relax, release the legs. Inhale, coming up onto the shoulders into onto the forearms and Sphinx, pulling the shoulders slightly back. If you would like to come into full Bhujangasana Cobra, you can straighten the arms and walk them in a little bit, but I'm just going to stay in Sphinx is enough extension for me. The last couple breaths, bring a little engagement into the glutes. And now we'll slowly come up to hands and knees and then standing. You can go to your bench or chair now for our reverse hyperextension. So laying your stomach out over the bench, and we're going to, on an exhale, start to squeeze the glutes and then bring the legs up to at least to your body. Maybe you can get them a little higher. Inhale down, exhale up. So every rep we're really using the glute and back muscles together. So we're initiating the movement by squeezing the glutes and lifting the legs up. And I learned about this one from Athlean X, which I have a link to, and he recommends that actually you do this one every day, 10 to 12 high quality reps, and it should do a lot to help either prevent back pain or treat some of the back pain you've been having. It really strengthens the spine and just will strengthen the muscles, keep the discs in nice and tight, and really contribute to having a lot healthier back. So I've been doing it every day. So when you get to 10, we'll come up, and now we'll stay at the bench or table and come to having the palms on the bench behind you. We're going to come into some shoulder dips. So inhaling the arms straight, exhaling down. You can either have the knees bent, or to make it a little more difficult, straightening the legs. So inhaling up, exhale down. This is good for the shoulders and the upper back. Just throwing in a little arm strength to balance things out too. And if this is difficult, you could just maybe come down an inch or not very much. And after 10 repetitions, we'll come back to laying on the stomach and go through 12. Reverse hyperextensions here, so feet on the floor, knees bent. Inhale, exhale, squeeze the glutes, lift the legs up. Inhale, release down, feet touch, exhaling up. Really giving these your all. It's kind of the peak pose of the sequence. And give it a try incorporating these into your daily life. Last couple reps here. Excellent. Then we'll come up and turn around back into the shoulder dips, either knees bent for a little bit easier, or legs straight for a little more advanced. Inhaling up, exhaling down. So try to keep the shoulders pulled back so you're not just crunching down, you're keeping some integrity through the shoulder joint. Either coming down to 90 degrees or however much you're able to make it. Going to 10. And then coming up, making your way back to the mat. So just a few more floor exercises here. Come on to laying on your back with your knees bent, feet flat. We'll be coming into one-legged bridge. So straighten the right leg, but keep the knees even. So you're going to take an inhale down, exhale lifting up, pressing into that foot on the ground. And you don't really have to come up that high, but these unilateral moves are really good for building strength in the leg. And again, this is one that I had a hard time with at first. You may sometimes even feel the hamstring cramping up a bit, especially we've already done a lot for today. So if you just take a break if you have a cramp. Now next time you're up, we'll stay here for 5 deep breaths, and I get a little trembly here. Keep the knees even. Exhale, relax, and then changing sides, lifting the opposite foot up, inhale up, or actually exhale up, inhale down. Again, normal to feel a little bit trembliness. Give it a little rest if it's getting a cramp. This practice may just overall feel kind of strange. And then we'll stay up here, holding it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So option 1, you can repeat that sequence we just did. If you'd like to take it up a little bit, you can elevate one foot on either your bench or a chair or a couple yoga blocks or something. So again, one foot will be on the table or whatever. The other foot up, inhaling down, exhaling up. So 10 reps, similar to the one leg bridge, just a little more power now that we have the foot elevated. Really going to work that hamstring today for all it's got. By now, at least mine is definitely feeling some fatigue. And I'll staying up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax down, changing sides, inhaling, exhaling up. One into the next. Quivering and shaking is okay. That means you're giving it a great workout. And again, the hamstrings may be feeling very surprised if they're used to mostly stretching and not doing as much work as this. And we'll stay up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then gently relax down. And we'll move back into laying on the back, feet flat. And come up into a bridge with both feet down. Inhaling, hips up. Also really reaching through the chest, thoracic spine. If you would like, you can interlace your hands underneath you. Keeping the knees in line. And really being pretty active with your glutes here, pressing up from the lower body. Exhale down. So we only have one final hamstring exercise, which for me is the most difficult, the grand finale, but you may have to work up to it. So you're going to come up onto our elbows behind us, forearms on the ground. Level 1, you can have the feet flat and just lift everything up except the feet and the forearms. Level 2, legs straight, everything up except the heels and the arms. Level 3, lift one leg up and pulse if the hamstring is screaming. For 5 little pulses here, and mine is just dying, can hardly finish up. And then switching sides for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax. You made it. So take your time to flip around onto your stomach. We're just going to do one gentle release for the low back as our closing posture. So just bend your right knee up to the side till it's about waist level, and then relax. And your head can be on one cheek, on your chin, or on your hands and your forehead. It doesn't really matter. It's such a simple move, but it's one of my favorite closing postures. You can also just do it on your own anytime, sometimes after work or sitting at a desk. It's nice just to release that low back muscle. Try to relax the shoulders a little more into the earth. We're going to be here for a nice 2 minutes on each side.
Gently start to slide that knee back to the other one. And the same thing on the opposite side. Bring the opposite knee up to about waist level. If you were on one cheek, you might want to change sides, but it doesn't really matter that much. We're just letting the back relax. Soften the shoulders. And then sliding that leg down to meet the other one. Taking a few breaths here. And then we'll gently make your way onto the back for Shavasana. So I usually start my first few breaths with my feet flat, knees bent, leaning into each other, palms facing up. Sometimes it's more comfortable to just stay with my knees bent. So you can stay here for the entire Shavasana, or if you would like, if it feels good, traditional is to have the legs straight. And just make any small adjustments you need to settle in here for about 4 minutes. Gently start to bring some movement back to the body, shifting the hands and feet. Gradually bring the knees into the chest and rocking onto one side. Taking a few breaths on your side. And then slowly coming up to seated. Thank you for practicing with me.